Hi, it's Peter here from the AMI group in Australia, and today we're out on the water doing a little Veratron VMH35 for Yamaha video. And what we're going to do today is replace this top Yamaha gauge here with a Veratron VMH35. As we're out on the water, we haven't really got any tools or anything with us or anything to play with. We're just going to leave the bottom Yamaha gauge in place for now. Eventually, once we've got that out, we're going to end up with a hole in the dash. So we can fit a 85mm gauge blanking plug, or you could get a Perspex cover piece to cover the two holes and then fit the VMH35 to the top hole. Or if you had a fiberglass boat, you could do the fiberglass work and fill the bottom gauge hole. If you were starting from scratch, you can actually purchase a full kit, which is a VMH35 gauge with the Yamaha bus, the cables, the cable to run back to the ECU in the engine, the works, and then you just go and put one gauge in the dash. So for now, we'll just take this one gauge out. First thing we've got to do is we'll just turn the engine off, and we'll isolate the power to the boat. So we're dead ship now. And we've got quite a handy console here where we can see everything quite easily. So we'll just unplug this Yamaha bus cable. These two wires here, the black and from the black and the pink, are our fuel tank level sender gauges. Fuel tank level sender. We can unplug the Yamaha thing, we don't need that anymore. Undo the spin lock on the back of the Yamaha gauge. Take that out, and we just grab our Veratron VMH35 gauge out. It's got a waterproof little gasket here to stop any water getting in between the ring and the dash. And we can just drop that in the dash. Get the spin lock nut. Do that up from behind. Get out the little pigtail cable that comes with the VMH35. We'll plug that into the back of the gauge. You can't see what I'm doing here, but I'll just lock the locking clip into the gauge. Then we get our Yamaha bus cable that we disconnected from the previous gauge. Plug that into the Veratron pigtail. And for our fuel tank sender wires, it's the pink and the black for the ground. Plug those two in. We'll secure the cables when we get back to land. Just make sure they don't get all jammed. Then what we can do is turn the power back on. And I'll start the engine. And if I flick through these screens here, for starters we've got the RPM goes around the ring on the outside here. If we were moving, we're going to have speed displayed here. At the moment we've got total fuel used and litres per hour. We're just idling at the moment. Battery voltage, oil temp, engine hours and a resettable trip hours. Fuel economy in nautical miles per litre. So if I just go forward a little bit, we'll see the speed come up on the top of the display. And then it'll start giving us a fuel economy reading. Let's get back to neutral. There's our resettable trip gauge. We've got time and our latitude and longitude. This gauge has got GPS built into it, and it'll also give us course over ground. There's our outboard engine trim level. Just trim the outboard up a bit, trim it down, and our fuel tank level. So it gives us a digital readout of how many litres we've got on board. Now all the units on these gauges, you can set them to whatever you want. So if you don't want knots, you can have kilometres an hour or miles an hour. You can change litres to gallons and so on. And then it's just a matter of picking which screen you want to display while you're running. Another option for us on this boat would be to fit a Veratron VMH 14 satellite gauge. So if we put that blanking plug in that hole later on, we could then fit the little VMH 14 to it, and it's just an Easy Link, Veratron Easy Link connection, piggybacking off the VMH35. So this was a retrofit for a Yamaha, and these gauges are also available for Suzuki, Honda, Tohatsu, and there's also diesel versions available. And the diesel versions have a lower RPM scale around the outer ring here. And there's also a outboard kit. So if you've got an analog outboard that doesn't have the digital data like this one does, you can buy the standard outboard kit, connect it in, do some calibration for the sensors and whatnot, and you're good to go, and you'll end up with pretty much everything that you see here. G'day guys, we're back in the office now after doing that retrofit of the gauge install on the boat yesterday, and just thought we'd run through the two different ways these kits come. What we did yesterday was just a retrofit, so it was this box here, and part number is B001-35303. What that gives you is what you saw yesterday. You get a couple of bits of paper, get a waterproof gasket to go behind the between the gauge and the dash to stop the water getting in behind the dash there. Screen cover, the VMH35 for Yamaha gauge, which is that guy there, and a Veratron to Yamaha pigtail connector. So that end there plugged into the back of the gauge. We connected to the Yamaha CAN bus cable here. There's two resistive inputs for fuel or water tank level senders, whatever you want to connect. Yesterday we only connected one, which was just the fuel tank because the boat's only got a fuel tank. And there's also an alarm output. This other plug here is a Veratron Easy Link connection, and that's for an optional satellite gauge such as the VMH 14. So these are pretty cool. You can have up to 16 of these daisy chained around the boat if you like, and you can just display whatever you want on there. So if you wanted your engine trim on here, if you wanted your course over ground, fuel tank level or water tank level if you had a water tank, you can do that on these. And as I said, you can have up to 16 of these daisy chained. They just basically plug in and away you go. So if you wanted to do one of those, the part number for a VMH 14 is B001-09901. So that was what we did yesterday. We'll put that aside. Now, if you were starting from scratch and you were getting a new Yamaha outboard fitted on your boat, and you wanted to go this way, you can buy this kit. And the kit part number is B001-35301. And we'll go through what this comes with. So, no surprises in here. There's a VMH35 for Yamaha gauge. Obviously a couple of bits of paper and your screen cover. That's about a 6 metre Yamaha main bus cable, so that connects back at the outboard and comes up to plug into the Yamaha bus. That's a Yamaha bus, so that main harness will plug into the bus. Power cable for the bus. They give you a couple of the Yamaha pigtail cables, so one end of this will plug into the Yamaha bus, and then the other end of it will plug into the Veratron to Yamaha pigtail cable. And you also get a couple of dust covers. So that kit there, if you're starting from scratch, that's the way to go. If you're doing the retrofit, go with the other kit there. Now, we used that gauge out on the water for a couple of hours after we'd done the install yesterday. We were really impressed. We found it was really handy to have actual digital numbers for how much fuel we had left, and we had a percentage indicator for the trim rather than just having, sort of bars that fill up as you trim up and down, we could actually specifically see if we're at 25% trim or 30% trim, 45% trim and whatnot. Just makes it a lot easier to set the trim back to exactly where you found the sweet spot. So hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.